Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the minds of those drivers who just seem to chronically break the rules. We're not just talking about the odd mistake here. Our mission is to kind of dissect the psychology, the aggressive driver, the slow one, even the clueless one. Why do they do it?
Yeah. And to start, we really need to nail down a key difference. It's the difference between an error and a violation. See, errors are unintentional. A slip, maybe a lapse. Like you meant to signal, but you forgot. It happens. Violations, though, that's different. That's deliberate, intentionally ignoring the rule. And chronic bad driving, it's often this mix intentional rule breaking plus some kind of sustained cognitive slip up. And they don't fix it because, well, they're not really monitoring themselves properly.
Okay, so error versus violation, that makes sense. How does that play out then in terms of like the specific types of drivers we see?
Right, that's where we get into the different profiles. Let's talk intentional violators first. You've got the aggressive dominant driver. Think high narcissism, low agreeableness. Basically, they see their car as an extension of themselves, their personal space, their territory.
Like their little kingdom on wheels.
Exactly. And any perceived intrusion, someone cutting them off, driving too slow, they react with what you could call dominance theater. It's a display.
Okay, but why doesn't that behavior get corrected? I mean, surely they get negative feedback, honks, near misses. How do they just keep doing it without feeling, well, wrong?
Well, that's the psychological defense kicking in. They use the self-serving bias a lot and rationalization. They genuinely convince themselves their actions are necessary. I had to speed because they were going too slow. Or, I'm a better driver so I can handle this.
So it's always someone else's fault.
Always. It lets them push the blame outwards, protects the ego. So, no guilt, no need to change.
Okay, so that's the aggressive type, needing control. But then there's the impulsive sensation seeker. They're not necessarily hostile, right? They're after something else.
Yeah, totally different drive. It's less about dominating others and more about the intrinsic reward, the thrill. Research actually shows a pretty solid link, like a 0.3 to 0.4 correlation between sensation-seeking, especially that thrill and adventure-seeking part, and risky driving like speeding.
So for them, speeding is what? A buzz, an emotional outlet.
Pretty much. It can be a coping mechanism, a way to feel alive, release tension. It feels good to them intrinsically.
Okay, and then, oh boy, the passive-aggressive driver, the classic example, driving slowly in the passing lane, the entitled gatekeeper. What is going on there?
This one's fascinating, actually. It often comes from this place of, believe it or not, moral superiority. They see themselves as the traffic avenger. They think they're doing a public service by slowing down speeders.
So they're deliberately obstructing traffic to teach people a lesson.
In their mind, yes. They feel justified. They're basically breaking the unwritten social rule, keep the flow going, because their personal moral mission feels more important.
Wow. Okay, so those are the intentional folks. But what about drivers who aren't trying to be bad? They just are. The clueless driver, the ones making constant errors.
Right. This profile isn't about intent. It's about cognitive deficits. Things like poor spatial awareness, maybe slow processing speed, difficulty multitasking behind the wheel. The real problem, the reason it persists, is a failure in metacognition. Meaning they lack the self-awareness to realize their mistakes.
Yeah.
The bad turns, drifting lanes, forgetting signals, stem from their own limitations. They don't see the pattern points back to them.
And that ego defense, the self-serving bias, probably jumps right back in.
You got it. Every near miss, every time someone honks, it's instantly blamed on something external. The road was wet, the sun was in my eyes, that other driver came out of nowhere. This completely blocks any chance of recognizing, hey, maybe I need to improve.
And things like forgetting to signal, that seems like such a common laugh.
It is, and it gets reinforced by what psychologists call the modeling effect. You see others not signaling, you think, well, maybe it's not so important, or you just get lazy. The social norm breaks down, and the dangerous habit spreads. It's like social contagion.
Okay, so we've got these different routes: dominance, thrill-seeking, moralizing, and just plain cognitive issues. So a single solution, like just more tickets, isn't going to work for everyone, is it?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It needs to be targeted. Fines might not deter an aggressive driver if the psychological kick of feeling dominant is stronger than the fear of the cost. You need to challenge their justification somehow. For the clueless driver profile, it's really about identifying the cognitive gaps. Mandatory cognitive screening maybe for new drivers, definitely for older drivers whose processing might slow down, could catch issues with spatial awareness or reaction time before they cause a crash.
And for the passive-aggressive traffic offenders, how do you tackle their sense of justification?
There, you need strict, clear enforcement of the actual traffic flow rules. Things like keep right, except to pass. If the rule is consistently enforced, it undermines their whole I'm the enforcer rationale. You take away their excuse.
So when you boil it down, the danger on our roads is this messy mix. It's intentional psychological stuff, people acting out dominance needs, rubbing up against chronic cognitive failures where people just aren't aware of their own incompetence.
That sums that up pretty well, yeah.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. This analysis suggests aggressive drivers might be using dominance on the road to cope with feeling stressed or inadequate elsewhere. If that's true, and if better traffic engineering, clearer lanes, fewer ambiguous spots where territory feels contestable can reduce those opportunities for dominance displays. Could smarter road design actually be a kind of, well, mass emotional therapy for drivers? Something to chew on next time you're stuck in traffic.